Now, next up, we've got stuff and announcements for Disney Plus's 2022 release date. As I don't know who officially reported this, but some Disney's more or less come out and said that for 2022, you can look forward to seeing Andor, Mandalorian Season 3, and the Kenobi series, which it was interesting to note that I didn't even know Andor was filming, but apparently, according to the lead actor, Diego Luna, they just finished filming Andor like a day or two ago. I'm going, oh, didn't even know you started. Like, at least with Kenobi, you saw, like, set photos or whatever else. That being said,
Weird.
Andor is probably my least anticipated of the three of these. I
I
didn't like Rogue One, really. I don't see the point of this. It's like, why do you give these characters backstory and emotion after you've killed them off? Black Widow. It's the same thing. And honestly, they weren't characters I liked to begin with. I didn't particularly care for Cassian Andor. They're like, oh, he's different and interesting because he kills people. And he's worse than Han Solo. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't fix the problems of Rogue One as a movie. How is it that the most interesting and human character in the whole movie is a robot voiced by Alan Tudyk? Like, if you told me it was a K2SO series, much more interested in that because I thought he was a lot better. But yeah, I'm not interested in Andor at all. Mando Season 3 would be my most anticipated of the year. Had the good Lord on high that is Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor, not be returning in all of his majestic glory. However, I do still have some reservations about the Kenobi series, but we can get into that in a little bit. Josh, you see that we're supposed to get 3 new Star Wars series, not 4, which means the Book of Boba Fett is probably the end of this year. Of the 3 of these, what are you most looking forward to? What are you least looking forward to? General thoughts about the Star Wars slate in 2022.
Yeah, no, that works for me. I'm kind of with you on the Andor. I didn't know. See, you at least knew it was going to be a show. I didn't for some reason. Like this is like you putting this on this list and him being like, "Hey, we're done filming." I was like, "Oh, that's a show." Oh, okay. Like had absolutely no clue what was happening. So, but I'm with you in that. Like, I personally enjoyed Rogue One. I appreciated what they tried to do. It's not perfect, and it's hard to get behind characters when you know they're going to not be there by the end of the movie. But also, Andor was not. He's not the guy that of that film that I would have been like super down to see more of. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they do something with him that's entertaining at least. Who knows? Mandalorian season 3, absolutely. Let's go. Super stoked. Kenobi got me good. Okay. So here's the thing. This is how excited I am for the Kenobi series. I got duped again.
Again?
Like,
Dude!
again, I got duped. It was like, hey, teaser trailer for Kenobi. And I was like, ooh, okay. And I don't know what movie he was in that was like sand-based.
The Last Days of Jesus?
There you go. So
something like that. I don't know if that's
it
the
was just
specific
a
title,
bunch
but
of
yeah.
scenes. Yeah, it was a bunch of scenes from that. It like intercut with some scenes from Rogue One, and, like him being on Jakku and stuff. And I was like, oh, that would be interesting to see. You know, oh, maybe he was on, and like just going through this whole teaser and like being like, oh, this is so cool. I don't know why his hair is a different color and why everything else is a different color. This is so weird. And then like I looked down in the description and it said fan made teaser. I was like, no, oh, so mad. This is like for those listening. I got duped. What was it for Far From
No
Home?
Way Home.
No Way Home. And it was literally like it opened up with a couple scenes from the other Spider-Man movies, and then hit me with a Rickroll, and I was like, "Dick, gummit!" All right, fine.
Now, the one that always makes me laugh, I'm going, are you people really that dumb? Is every couple months I'll see circulating on my timeline people sharing the quote-unquote High School Musical 4 trailer, and I'm going, guys, if you're watching this, look at this. They're blatantly just using footage from the old movies. This is not a new trailer. Y'all know what fan-made trailers are. So I'm excited for Kenobi.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's no secret this is like the top of my list of things that I've been asking for and clamoring for basically since we started this channel. I remember being basically the boy who cried wolf of, oh, a Kenobi project's happening, back when it was supposed to be a movie, but then the Boba Fett movie got canceled, Rogue One didn't deliver as much as they were hoping for, then Solo was Solo, and then they scrapped all the Solo movies, which was going to be Kenobi, then it got reworked into a series. So we've been following this for a very long time. I still have some reservations, though. As soon as they said Hayden Christensen will be back as Darth Vader, I'm going, that I think kind of goes against the timeline, doesn't it? Because we were led to believe in episode 4, when I left you I was but the learner, now I am the master. Like, it seems like they had not seen each other since Mustafar. I'll be very curious how they will address that, and also, I've made no qualms about how I think Hayden Christensen is a terrible actor. And yes, he had terrible dialogue he had to deliver, but I've seen him in other things, and I still don't think he's that great of an actor. Maybe the show can redeem him like it redeemed Boba Fett. Don't come at me. Boba Fett was just a lame character in the movies before Mando made him awesome. Like,
yeah.
He wasn't interesting in the original trilogy. Sorry, he looked cool, but he didn't do anything. So maybe that exact same thing will happen here to Darth Vader, to Hayden Christensen. My only concern is, don't make this too much like Mando, of an outcast that has to take care of a young person of some generation that's strong with the Force and protecting them from Imperial forces of some kind. Like, there were some early reports that may or may not be credible, so I don't know if I want to believe them or not, but there's some reports of reshoots because the show felt too similar to Mandalorian, but I don't know if I believe that, just because from the looks of it, show-wise, Kathleen Kennedy has really been hands-off with the shows, which is probably why they've been really, really good and coherent storytelling-wise. But
what? Outside of Visions.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. I'll be curious when we get this specifically, maybe summertime, but as a whole, this slate looks really, really good. That's nothing to say about Mando Season 3. Mando so far has been like the reliable horse for Disney+. It was there at launch. It was the best thing available at launch. Season 2, for me at least, I thought was even better than Season 1. And there continues to be, with Mandalorian, this story escalation. The first one was very much about a lone gunslinger basically redeeming himself for his previous actions and becoming more or less going from an anti-hero to a straight-up hero. And the second one, we seen the expansion of the galaxy with Ahsoka, with the glorious Luke Skywalker scene that reduced grown men to tears, even though I think it would have been better if they used the Force theme during that scene, but whatever. I think they're going to keep doing that with Season 3. I think Season 3 will be the start of even bigger things. There have been some rumblings that going forward, Filoni and Favreau might be not retconning the sequel trilogy, but inserting new stories in between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens to kind of get fans what they were kind of hoping that the sequel trilogy would be. And I would not be surprised at all if Mando is the start of that. We get more Luke, we get more Han somehow. I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to evolve and grow the universe. Like, think of Mando as essentially the Iron Man of this new Star Wars universe. He's the foundation that everything else will be built upon. And if that's the case, and if we continue the quality that Mando has been, sign me up, because I absolutely just love what they've done with Mandalorian.
Absolutely. It'll be, I think, Mandalorian, just because of the universe expansion and all this other stuff that they're doing with it, and now that we've kind of waved goodbye to Grogu, who I'm not entirely convinced won't show up again later.
I'm sure he'll be back for Season 3.
Yeah, I'm sure. I would think. A part of me almost doesn't want, because I think going into the season finale of Season 2, I was very much like, okay, let's wrap this Grogu thing up, and so that Mando can go on another set of adventures. But I don't know what that's going to be, especially now that Boba Fett's going to have his own series. So it'll be interesting, to say the least. I think one of the only things that I'm really worried about when it comes to Kenobi, and I just had this thought, so I wanted to make sure I shared it. There's a lot of stuff that happens in Rebels that involves Obi-Wan and Darth Maul, and I really hope they don't try to recreate that
I don't think they will.
in live action. You know what I mean?
That's my complaint. Is as much as I loved Rebels, what they did with Rebels, with how they had Obi-Wan and Darth Maul face off one more time, I was really hoping that that was going to be in a movie or a show instead. Not to
Yeah.
disparage Rebels at all. I think that was a brilliant show and a very underrated show, I think, because too many people saw it as just for kids or the animation style wasn't for them. But especially that final season, like what happens with
Hmm.
Kanan, still will just emotionally wreck me. And other stuff that happens in it. I would have loved if you told me the plot of the Obi-Wan series was Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul one more time on Tatooine. Yes, please. But how they did it on Rebels was perfect. I just really wish we could have got that in live action form instead.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But I do think there's a part of me that wants to believe that the Kenobi series slash movie was not even in the works at the time, and so they didn't know if they would ever have that opportunity. So it did feel like a very good, like, timeline wise. It felt very perfect, like, to slide that moment in right there. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm excited either way. As far as Andor goes, I'll wait for a trailer to get any kind of excited.